Arr, they call me Captain Solo. Why? Because I rape all my bitches with one single me. Like that with card game. Like, get this wannabe One Piece villain out of here. Like that. It's like, what the fuck is with this guy? Oh, we've got the intimidation of Captain Solo and his rape-looky crew. And it's just like, these guys look like fucking scrubs. They genuinely look like fucking scrubs. So, yeah, I'm glad that I had suspicions about the whole Serena thing, because, yeah, it sounded weird, suspicious, so it was either A, gonna be some magic bullshit, or B, like that there was a trap, which, guess what? Captain Solo ends up being a fucking trap in general, like that, and it's just like, I'm kind of glad the way that they edited the footage and all that from last week. It was like, oh, there's gonna be like, you know, he's gonna be dueling those guys from like, you know, Academia and everything. It was like, oh, so it's like oh, him and like Yuya and Captain Solo were gonna duel him, but no, turns out like, Yuya duels Captain Solo and Serena betrays everyone, and I was like, why? Why? And we don't even find out till the last bit of the episode. Oh, I hear there's someone in Academia that can have like that can mind manipulate people. How? Fuck it, magic. Like, I don't know, they don't explain, but let's just go with fuck it, it's magic, roll with it, it's a children's card game. Now, it just felt so weird, because it was just like, oh, we just had Yuzu, like, back after all this time, and it's like, just Serena goes with his Academia, fucking go, see ya, like, see you later, fuckers, like that, and it's just like, wow, like, so not only it was like, oh yeah, we are going to have this big tower thing right now, rescue each, like, oh, one of the boys and all that are probably going to have to go to each one of these fucking towers to go and rescue one or the other like that. It's just like, it felt so fucking weird just having this. Now let's just talk about fucking Captain, like, piece of shit, whether his name like that, Solo. It was just going, oh my god, the duel, like where do I begin with this duel? Like, I would say one thing and all that, immediately, it wasn't a good duel at all, I'll say that much, where it's just like, I'm immediately going to bring out Fusion Summon, Yuya, and I'm just going to bring out my Ace Monster already, which is this level 6 fucking, like, Captain. It was cool that he brought back some old monsters. It was like what, like, I fucking, like, one of the shitty cards I remember used to get, like, back in the day, like, it was like the Skull Mariner, I believe it was called, in Skull Knight, and I was like, okay, you know, like bring some old cards into it. It's like fusing together, and it's just like, hey, yeah, here's my level 6 monster. Let it wake up my legendary pirate king, like that. And I believe his name was like Captain like Cook, or like in some sort of way like that. I'm pretty sure it was like Captain Lock or Captain Cook in somewhere, and I was like, his ability, which was actually, like, if they actually make him available, then he's pretty much going to be, like, really useful, because his ability is that, it's like, oh, I can just summon any, like, you know, you can't summon any monsters at all, like, neither one of us and all that. It's like, you can't normal summon, and you can't special summon monsters from their hands. However, though, you can do things like fusion summoning and extra summoning like that, so you would have to, like, do some restriction stuff, like, on there. So it's like, it's a pretty useful card in, like, some ways, but however, if a monster appears on the field that has, like, more than 1,000 attack points, including, like the captain as well, then it's destroyed. So it's like, there's some use to this monster, like, there's definitely some kind of really interesting kind of monster that has, like, an effect, but then it has a lot of restrictions. So I'm wondering if this is going to be something that can be used in the TCG. Like, I imagine, like, if it's ever going to be used, it'll be like, oh, you, like, send 2 skull monsters instead of just, like, these 2 Pacific skull monsters. So that could be a way for it to work. Like, fuck it, but the entire duel was just like Yuya trying to get action cards to increase this thing, and the captain, like the fucking Captain Solo, was just action card, action card, action card, action card. And I never really did like action cards, like, for the most part and all that. They always came, they kind of felt like speed counters in, like, when we was, like, watching, like, 5Ds back in the day, where it was just like, oh, it's just a card that just randomly comes out of, like, just nowhere and all that, and it gives, like, the player advantage. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like, pretty much Yuya had, like, 2 turns, like, I think, like, either 2 turns or, like, 1 turn in there, and then, which was a nice surprise, which was the better half of the episode, is that Crow comes back, and it was like Sora and like everyone like that, like, you know, Tsuchika, like all of them. I was like, oh, that's cool and all that, like everyone and all that, like Renji, like all of them would come back, and I was like, okay. And it's like, oh, we find out that like everything in the synchro dimension's fine, there's no tops, there's no comments anymore. I was like, that's more interesting than this duel right now, like finding out all this stuff going on with like that's like off screen than it is this duel. I'm gonna say the duel was the weakest part of this episode, and it was just like, the guy was a fucking joke, and I know that's what he was supposed to be from the first place. It was like, he wasn't supposed to be serious at all, but it's just like, it was just a really bad duel, and then Sora getting involved, and it's like, we gotta see a new monster, which was like the Frighther, like, Kraken, which can attack twice, but you using its trap card to, like, go and give him a boost with one of his, like, perform powers and all that, but then the captain was like, oh, I'm gonna use, you know, to increase his attack, but it's like, nah, that ain't enough like that, so going in and attacking and winning, and they're like, okay, we're going to these towers, and how the preview looks is like, wow, like, they immediately seem to have 2 duels at once. We're going to have, like, from what it looks like, we're going to have, like coming into it, we're going to be having, like, an interesting duel and all that, where we're going to be seeing, like, 2 sides of it and all that. We're going to see, like, Yugo's duel on there, and then we're going to see Kaito is all duel at the same time, obviously, to go and get, like, Rin and Yuri, so, like, from there, so, like, you know, that'll be something, like, going into, like, if we see all the boys going in to get all the girls and all that, and it's like, that, I feel, is that what's going to happen and all that, to get, like, Serena, to get Yuzu and all them back like that? I don't know, like, honestly, like, I really enjoyed kind of, like, the final, like, everyone's gathering back, and it's like, wow, the show, so, like, the show feels so fucking rushed now, I'm not gonna lie, we're now about to ride to, like, the fusion, like, plays and all that, unless there's some more going on. I could honestly say, after this season and all that, after the last couple episodes and all that this season, I wouldn't be surprised and all that if it was like, it had 13 or 20 episodes left of the series, because it just feels like it's going so fast paced and all that. And it's like, if you got such a fast pacing, then why have these certain kind of duels and all that? Because it honestly, like, generally, like, I don't mean to be like kind of like, oh fuck, like, everything and all that, but like, this episode was just really just not entertaining in the duel like aspect. Like, everything to do with the other characters were, and then also as well, like, animation was a bit like really rough and all that, character art as well, like, certain characters just look really bad, but it's like, other than that, like, you know, like, everything else, like, when you saw, like, when we were talking about Crow and Sora, everything that wasn't actively the duel, which was like a good 3/4 of the episode, like that, it's like the kind of the last quarter bit is the best part of the episode, really, like that. So yeah, that's a shame, guys. Like, I really didn't want to, like, I really thought I'd be like, oh, this episode's dumb, goofy, you can enjoy it, but I generally, I don't know, just like, it was just one gimmick card, and then it was just like, oh, but Sora and Yuya at the end, like, combine their efforts to kind of put their efforts into it, but it was just like, really, like, it was just like this one card that just came out, and it was just like, I've got this one gimmick. Here you go, action card, action card, action card, and I just didn't like it. Like, I want proper duels. I don't want this just gimmick thing, like saying, oh, here's the gimmick of the week, like, try and beat it. Like, that's what I didn't like about it. So, honestly, like, to be fair, I didn't like this episode too much, which is a shame, because I was really looking forward to, like, an episode of Life Leave. So we'll honestly have to wait and see, like, what's going to be happening next in next week's episode, since it's going to be obviously, like, Kaito and Yugo's duels against 2 of the Guardians already, so it seems like we're going to already rush in that already. So yeah, like, I might have to just do a video just, like, talking about, like honestly, like, with R5's pacing, because it's just utterly fucking ridiculous, I feel like, at this point, of, like, how they're just going at a million miles an hour. It's like, the original show, GX, 5Ds, fucking ZL at points and all that, we had duels that kind of lasted, like, a bit, and they had, like, a little bit more to them and all that, and it's like, especially, it's just like, even with the tournaments and all that from, like, the early season of Arc 5, and just like, even if that isn't this captain, because, like, fuck it, like, I don't think anyone would want, like, an actual duel on him for, like, 2 or 3 episodes, but even GX gave the jobbers a lot more of the personality, and it gave them a lot more time in their duels, so I guess it's just like, that's just how things are nowadays. But overall, it's like, yeah, I didn't really enjoy this episode too much, so other than that, I am going to give it a 3.5 out of 10. I did not enjoy it a lot, but honestly, I definitely say that the last quarter of the episode was probably the best part and all that, when, like, Sora and all them were sort of gathering together, and we kind of finished off the duel, and there was some little jokey moments, and it was like, okay, we're finally now going to ride on the island, but pacing issues, like, art and animation quality, and just overall that this guy was just nothing. And even still, like, the seriousness about dueling and all that is like, we didn't really duel a lot in this episode. It was just like, let's use this gimmick, which is never used in the actual card game, like when it comes out in the TCG or the OCG, is like, we never use fucking action cards and anything like that. So I don't know, it felt like kind of a little bit, just, it feels like cutting edges and all that, like, it's like, oh, we don't want to make new cards and all that, we don't use card effects and all that, let's just use these, like, action cards that can be magically found. So I generally hope, if there is another season, which we still, like, it is still can be out of the air at the moment and all that, I generally hope they get rid of this thing, because it is really fucking bad, bad, and I hate action cards. I think they generally ruin a good chunk of the series and all that. So I'm going to end off there. I hate to be like kind of this negative Nancy on this episode, but it really did irritate me on like a lot of edges and all that. So I'm definitely going to end off there. So sorry for the like, I wish I could have been a positive like episode and all that, but even still and all that, I'm not going to lie to you guys. You guys are intelligent beings, and I know, but if you enjoyed the episode, that's fine. Personally, I didn't care for it though. I really didn't like what it was doing, but I'm going to end off there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you guys though next time.